So let's go back to that story of the amount of people that crossed the Channel in the last couple of days. Another 125 arrived by small boats yesterday. It comes just the day after there were 700 made the trip across the Channel. That's the highest number, by the way, since Labour came to power. Keir Starmer and his Italian counterpart, Giorgia Meloni, not a usual marriage, you'd imagine, are planning to make the EU police force focus on tackling EU immigration. They have some agreement there. Europol officers currently work on everything from terrorism to drug trafficking, but the two leaders want the agency to prioritise targeting people smugglers. Let's speak to Peter Walsh, senior researcher at the Migration Observatory. It's all very well, it's like all areas of policy, I suppose, Peter, all very well saying it. I mean, we all agree with these sentiments. We want to smash the gangs. We want to stop illegal immigration. We want to make sure that people are looked after. And, you know, we want to be civilised about this, but we also want to recognise a huge problem. Everybody knows that. Saying it and doing something are two very different things, and we haven't seen a lot of action.
Yeah, they are two very different things. And, you know, Labour will soon encounter the same very difficult challenges that the Labour government did, that the senior figures in the smuggling operations operate far beyond UK, if not EU jurisdiction, in countries like Afghanistan, Iran, Turkey, that the people most directly involved with smuggling on the ground, they work in small groups on a 300-kilometre long coastline. You smash one of these small gangs, another pops up in its place. There are questions, I think, at this stage about why this enforcement-heavy approach of the Labour Party will succeed when the Conservative government's previous approach, you know, had rather more limited success. And the big open question for me is actually what will be the nature of the joint operations. We need to see the detail on how that will work in practice. In particular, how much information will be shared and what will be the nature of the working relationships between Europol, the UK and other EU partners.
What is, as you see it, Peter, what is the answer here? Because, again, we can talk about smashing the gangs. Everybody wants to smash the gangs. The previous government wanted to smash the gangs. French intelligence want to smash the gangs. UK intelligence, Belgian intelligence. You know, everybody wants to do that, and I think there's, you know, they are making efforts. It's already a criminal act, of course. That bit isn't new. But it's not unreasonable to say, look, if you've got 700 people coming into your country, whether you're, as I always seem to say, left-wing or right-wing, that is a problem, and something needs to be done to address that bit of the problem immediately.
Yeah, and it's just such a difficult challenge. You know, I think Keir Starmer said something that we've been saying for a long time. There is no silver bullet. The evidence suggests a solely enforcement-heavy approach has its limits just because of the nature of how these gangs operate. I mean, there are other solutions, you know, such as those proposed by migrants' rights organisations, refugee charities. You know, for example, allow people to claim asylum from overseas, to travel to the UK legally where they can file a claim. But there's been precious little indication that the previous government and even this government doesn't have much appetite, because we suspect the concern is that that will lower the bar for entry to the UK and could lead to more people
coming over. I remember when Rishi Sunak and Macron met, I'm sure you remember it well, that lovely powwow they had together. And I think Mr Sunak referred at the time to having some kind of processing centre in France. As I remember correctly, Macron's eyes sort of darted around a little bit going, well, that's a new one on me. But I think Rishi thought, well, I'll say it anyway. And nothing's really come of that either.
Nothing's come of that. I mean, a couple of decades ago, we did actually engage in a policy where we dismantled the big camps there and shared asylum seekers. But, you know, for the longest time, the policy of both countries has been we don't want to take more, we want to take fewer. And that's a position that's fairly consistent these days now with respect to irregular migration and asylum seeking across the European continent as well as in the UK.
Indeed. Peter, thank you for your time. Peter Walsh, senior researcher at the Migration Observatory here on Talk.